Hello, welcome back to our series of videos on the Ordermoon channel. And just to remind you, please subscribe, get that algorithm working, and let's get this message of a circular economy. Anyhow, let's get straight into it, because to my left, I have the one and only Ivan. Welcome. How are you?
Very good.
Good. Ivan is working for Breeze. They're a team that's located all over the place, and I'm particularly fond of your company because your app, Breeze's app, was the very first Lightning app I downloaded. So all those years ago, which was I think 6 years ago, something like that.
Something like that.
Yeah.
5.5 to 6 years we released it, but that was before I joined the team. It was just the three founders at that point.
Yeah.
But I think we are the third company on the Lightning network ever.
Yes.
So we are one of the founders of implementing Lightning.
Fantastic. And as you know, we're here at Social Cafe, and we've just done a demonstration of how easy it is to pay with Lightning. Now, this is very close to my heart because when it all first came out, it was very much hit and miss whether the whole system worked. And I know you're agreeing, you're nodding. But I think my first question to you is, just generally speaking, why should people be spending their sats or their Bitcoin as well as just hodling, which of course the meme of hodl has been big, but why bother spending it? Why should we be doing this?
Well, my initial thought is that when you get into Bitcoin, because you realize the properties, you don't want to spend it, and once you get some accumulation, yes, you should hodl. But if you don't want to be isolated in the network in your own bubble, and you don't have your personal circular economy that you want to spend, and oh, I'm a millionaire but I can't spend it anywhere, you should create your network so you know where to spend. You create those relationships with the venues, with people, with anybody, because you're part of the network. You're not just somebody in space that we don't care about.
That's right. So the idea is you find people who want, and businesses such as restaurants, but they could be marketing companies, app development companies. Quick shout out for our appfactory.bg. We accept Bitcoin, of course, but all sorts of businesses. And even if you've accumulated what you think is quite a large amount of Bitcoin or sats, and you want to realize some profit, it's better for the whole network to actually spend it, because that strengthens the network.
If you want to increase the value of Bitcoin, more people should hodl. But if you don't give Bitcoin to people, how are they going to hodl? I'm not going to increase Bitcoin by me hodling only, but if I put 10 people on it, we're going to increase that effort 10 times, 100 people, 100 times, 1,000 people, and more and more and more.
Yes.
So that's the reason. If you want Bitcoin to increase in value, spread some of it so more people can hold it.
There's an emotional aspect, though, isn't there, for releasing Bitcoin, though maybe you don't need to, and you have to replace that Bitcoin. And there's a slight, I'm just trying to explain why some people don't want to spend any Bitcoin, because there's a little bit of a cost to go to a Bitcoin ATM or an exchange to get that Bitcoin back in. What would you say to people like that?
I would say to let's say you spend some Bitcoin and Bitcoin increases the next day a lot. Yeah, that's the negative, but that's a very limited view. Like, you're missing on all the positives, because every time that I spend Bitcoin on anything and the next day or the next hour it increases, that person that I sent Bitcoin is so happy, and he's going to fall down the rabbit hole harder than Bitcoin stays the same value, or I don't have the regret. I feel very happy when other people have their purchasing power increased. And that feeling, I can't give them logically explaining it's a store of value. But when you experience it, I don't need to say anything, and they are going to start coming to me asking more questions. Why does this happen? And then we can have the logical. But if you want people to really get it, give them the emotional experience, not just, oh, let's talk numbers.
That's right. So it's more than an asset. Now, we're in Social Cafe and we've just paid a bill with Bitcoin.
Yep.
And I still get excited each time I pay with Lightning. It's incredible. It's instant, immediate, and it works.
Yep.
And guess how much the fee was? Zero or close to zero. Yes.
Yep. I would say there's a technical talk that Lightning helps the other solutions to be zero. Lightning has some fee, and because it's a new system, people need to understand it better. But the engineers are building solutions that are even on top of Lightning, where fees can be zero, where anonymity can be full, and all the negatives that were portrayed in the media about Bitcoin, how it's not this or that or whatever, they were trying to judge the first layer. But there's a second layer, Lightning, and now there's on top of the second layer, the third layers are connected through Lightning, which creates all of those problems obsolete, and people will just have the experience, I receive anonymously, instantly, and it is mine and nobody can take it. And that is what the fiat system actually robbed us away, that we don't have our stuff, that we are using somebody else's stuff and they can exploit us through it.
Absolutely. So explain, as if I'm 12-year-old, in minimal technical terms, how these layer 2, layer 3, now obviously liquid, some of you would know this liquid element, how would you explain how that works to make sure that actually Lightning works so seamlessly? And you're obviously part of Breeze, you have an SDK that actually is making amazing apps that work. So explain why we need these different layers, please.
Yes. As we know, on the first layer, there are three major points. The first point is security, which is protected by the proof of work. The second point is decentralization, so the network is protected from attacks from the inside.
Yes.
And the third one is scalability. That is what Satoshi Nakamoto sacrificed in order to have the first two ever in history. And it was an intentional thing. And the second layer is trying to solve partially that problem of scalability. If you can send 7 transactions on the first layer per second, on the Lightning Network you can send between 1 million and 40 million transactions per second, which is 1,000 times more than Visa. And not only that, but the third layers are even more. So that is what each layer is trying to solve, the scalability issue, because we can't all transact on the first layer.
Absolutely. Now, we're in the sort of midst of the AI boom, rush, whatever, media. One day, do you think we'll have bots, robots, sending each other a payment? And would you agree that it could well be little tiny amounts of Satoshi between the machines?
I don't know what future you're talking about, because what you're explaining is happening now.
I know. It sounds so incredibly futuristic that I'm sure many people watching don't believe it is happening now, do they? That's extraordinary.
It's absolutely, they're implemented in games, in all sorts of things. They're not popular, but like any new technology invention, just people need to test it to realize that it's not something to fear, but something to use.
Absolutely. So the future kind of is here now, starting, but many of you won't, obviously don't realise that it is already there, but it's just a matter of time as AI and bots become more and more and more part of our lives, daily lives. Why do we need the circular economy?
I would say that we need the circular economy, we as Bitcoiners, so we can have everything that fiat infrastructure gives us, but uncensorable, unconfiscatable, and free to use as we please, not begging or asking permission from anybody. That's us as Bitcoiners. But why venues need to accept it now? The biggest reason I would say is this. Every venue would like to attract millionaires and billionaires. And if you give that service to the Bitcoiners now, these are the millionaires and billionaires of the future. And do you want to have them come in your venue or in somebody else's venue? So I would say that's the best argument that I can give to the venues. Because right now we are not many people, but the richest people will be in Bitcoin that started as early as possible.
Very, very good answer. So if you want more business, if you're a venue looking at this, wherever you are in the world, think seriously why you want to accept Bitcoin. You may not want anything except more business, and that is fine. You just want people to come to you. And you know what? Maybe you can get in contact with a local Bitcoin meetup, and they'll have a Bitcoin meetup in your venue, and they will spend the sats, as we had the other day. And I didn't actually explain, Ivan runs the Sofia Bitcoin meetup group, or facilitates it, let's put it that way. When we were in a wonderful bar called Caldo, and all of us there paid with Bitcoin Lightning. And it all worked.
Just one last point on it. Even if now you don't have a lot of crowds coming to you on the numbers, but you do want that one guy, the VIP client, because one VIP client is 50 to 100 regular clients. So that's what I'm saying for the venues. Maybe we're not a bunch of Bitcoiners, but the richest people and the VIPs for the venues will be Bitcoiners.
Yes, totally agree with that. So it's the 80-20 rule. I'd say like 1%, 99% rule in this particular world right now is attract the Bitcoiners. They are worth really good money to your venue. Think about the circular economy, and if you are into Bitcoin and you fancy spending your sats, why not come to Sofia and enjoy? There's great venues to enjoy.
Sofia is permissionless, so you're welcome.
You're welcome. On that bombshell, I'd like to thank you very much for joining us, Ivan of Breeze, and all your hard work you do to helping the Bitcoiners in Sofia and elsewhere, of course.
Thank you for your part.
Thank you. Bye for now.
Bye-bye.